If you joined Shorts Wars early on, you'd know that CloneVPN had a website up which may not have been the most secure site, but it did have little nods to CloneVPN's plan, and later on added new pages with some things that could have definitely led to lore. I vividly remember saving this on my desktop to come back to it later. Problem was, it got shut down. And not even for lore reasons, no. Squarespace decided to shut it down because it was spreading false information, clearly not being informed that the VPN wasn't even real. So the creators had to work it into the storyline that Joe Kane shut down CloneVPN. It was a quick addition to the lore, but it does make me wonder, was some of the lore that we were missing hidden in that website? So I scanned the internet to find if there were any screenshots of the website, something that could have led us to the right path to figure out more about the boss, the clones, and maybe even hints to Season 2 altogether. And this is what I found. So most of the new additions were found on the Final Hours page, which was one of the late additions to the website, given the fact that it was only added once the stream for Final Hours had been confirmed. The only reason I could think of to why the website and the stream were connected was because of the timer on the stream was meant to indicate when the website was meant to be shut down, until Squarespace obviously took control of it. If you thought that one was a bit too easy and a bit too obvious, then we'll get to the quote from God. "From dust you came, and to dust you will return." Now this is from Genesis 3:19. Yes, we are whipping out biblical quotes for this one. But what's interesting about this quote is that this is what God says to Adam after he and Eve commit the first sin. Before this, they were going to be gifted eternal life, a way to live on forever in the Garden of Eden. But they had chosen to disobey God's command, and thus doomed them to death. While there are many interpretations of the Bible due to different perspectives and translations, today we're going to be focusing on this version because I believe it's most like what's going on in CloneVPN, especially this one specific detail. The forbidden fruit in question had gifted Adam and Eve with knowledge, specifically the knowledge that they were naked. It gave them shame, a reason to want to cover up those parts of themselves, to present themselves in a different way. Now God sees this, realised what has happened, and thus promised them that for disobeying him, they will die. Now I want to talk about the comparisons between these stories, because this quote doesn't seem random. I think it's a clear threat from the boss to either the clones or the originals. On one hand, the boss created the clones, offering them the chance to generate the same content forever to their audience. But once they realise that the content that they make is bad, similar like how Adam and Eve learn about shame, then the boss requires them to be terminated because they eat the forbidden fruit. We see this through Royal Melon. Rest in peace, man. On the other hand, it could be less literal and aimed towards the originals as the initial threat to shut down their channels. The fact that if they don't comply with the boss's demands, they will be replaced, much like how, if creators don't create, people will lose interest and then they're gone. The boss has a way of keeping all their channels alive, hence eternal life, but the content remains copy and pasted with no shame. Now, with both scenarios, it's clear that the boss sees himself as a godlike figure, which makes sense given that he can create and destroy the lives of clones at will, giving him an infinite army. Moving on, we can talk about the shapes. Now this was a tricky one. The shapes are just there, nothing exactly tied to them or any links that could suggest they mean anything, but I have a feeling that they are of somewhat importance, purely due to the fact that there are 6 of them. This is mirrored from the same amount of creators there are. We can even match the creators to the shapes we've been given through the Meet the Creators page. So if we go in order to where the shapes are and what orders the characters appear, we can see that Joe Kane's shape is blue and Johnny Razor's is red. The rest of them are a faded grey colour. Now I understand that if they're going to point out Joe Kane's profile being blue in reference to the fact that he has no clone at all at the moment, makes it seem like that makes sense. I mean, the rest were cloned, he wasn't, therefore he is an outlier. Well then why is Johnny's red? Well, this is actually revealed at the end of the season, where the boss is shown to be alive, ready to plan their next move, and most importantly, sporting Johnny's signature shirt. Well, is that it? Is the reason for the colour change because Johnny is the actual villain? Well, that would make sense if he were the villain. Thing is, I don't think that's the case. I think that this website gave us the first insight into Season 1's ending, but also hints that although this is what the boss looks like now, it could be possible that Johnny isn't the only form he takes. Okay, so soon I'm gonna have to make a theory completely based on what exactly the boss is. But that's not gonna be today. Again, I feel like it needs to be a full video dedicated to that theory, so if that's something you're interested in, please do comment and subscribe and turn on notifications. Just to add, Squarespace, of all the things you could have killed, it had to be the website, didn't it? It couldn't have been, I don't know, like Clone Riggy. Maybe. Possibly. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!